All right, everybody, welcome, welcome. We are live. Welcome back. This is amazing. I'll let you guys join us and accumulate more and more and more viewers here. This is our important and our fun rescue and romance version of this Facebook Live. This is a great event tonight. We are so thrilled to have you. Last month's Facebook Live got over 2 million viewers thanks to you guys. So we love you. Hopefully a lot of those people are back this month for rescue and romance. Who doesn't love a little rescue and romance, or a lot of it? We know you do, and it means a lot to us. Your support, your love, coming back to that over 2 million views that we had last month. Your support and your love for Great American Family and PureFlix, it means the world to us. It really does. And that's what we're trying to do here, right? On everything that we do on Great American Family, on PureFlix, we're trying to create faith and family entertainment, feel-good entertainment for you to enjoy, and then for you to share with us what you think. And we love that, and we know you love it because we got some comments. So I'm going to read some of your fun feedback from different people through the months. This is Michelle from last month. She said, thankful for Great American Family and love the faith-based movies and to find a community that feels the same. Michelle, we appreciate that, and it's so true, isn't it? Like faith-based movies and to find a community. When you have that sense of community, obviously that's a big deal. That's what we're all about. Jess says, hi from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hi, Jess. I love you all and the great wholesome programs and what you stand for. Thank you for standing up to values. Thanks for pointing that out and seeing that, Jess. That means a lot to us. So thanks for sending that message. And we're just highlighting a few people. If we don't get to you, we will. We will. We got one more here to read as just a general comment. Lisa says, thank you for building a faith-based network that we can watch with our children and grandchildren. America is craving wholesome programming. I love that. America is craving wholesome programming. That's what we're all about. And you're right. Your kids can watch. Your grandkids can watch. I remember when my kids started watching some of the movies I did in Great American Family, like it just made me feel good that I didn't have to cover their eyes. I didn't have to worry what was coming next. They were going to get some beautiful positive messaging as well. So thank you for sharing those. Now, I shared those. Those are past messages that we're sharing now. But obviously tonight we're live here and now. And a big part of our Facebook Lives are you guys sharing your comments and your questions all through the live. Like we're going to have people in studio. We're going to have people on Zoom. Keep those comments and questions coming. We're going to be coming back to you. I'm going to make sure tonight, which I haven't always done in the past, in case you didn't notice, but I'm going to make sure tonight that I leave a lot of time to get to your comments and your question. I will talk less so you can talk more. How about that, everybody? And I think we're going to do that right now. We're going to see as we're streaming, as people are joining us. We've got Diane in Mississippi. Hi, Diane. We got you there. Nice to see you. What's it like in Mississippi? What's the weather like? Hopefully good. Joanne in Illinois. A little chillier up in Illinois. Thanks for tuning in, Joanne. Good to have you here. Alta, that's a nice name, A-L-T-A, Alta in West Virginia. Alta, I've never been to West Virginia, so I got to get over there sometime. And Joe in Michigan, what's up, Joe? I love Michigan. A lot of my friends from Michigan. As a Canadian, Canada and Michigan, we're kind of nestled in together. Thanks for joining us. And I'm sure we have many other states represented as well. All right, let's dive right in, everybody. I'm going to give you a little preview of what you can expect for our rescue and romance event here tonight. We got best-selling author Karen Kingsbury is going to be joining us to discuss her beloved romance turned into a movie. Of course, Someone Like You, plus the film star Sarah Fisher will be joining us, but in studio, she'll be coming here in just a little bit. Now, as you know, Great American Media is at the heart of bringing faith-filled storytelling to television. Again, I've sort of said this before, but that's what we're all about. So what we're doing is 30 straight weeks of uplifting programming every Sunday night, 30 weeks, and this is going to lead into Great American Christmas 2025. So 30 straight Sundays that we're calling Faith and Family Sundays. And it kicks off with season 2 of the premiere of County Rescue on Great American Family. That's this Sunday, February 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There we go, Faith and Family Sundays. What's better than that, everybody? And we can't talk about rescue and romance and have a whole event without having people from County Rescue joining us. Of course, it's such a great medical drama that weaves faith into every storyline. It's got such a talented cast, and we're going to have a lot of those people here joining us. We have Julia Riley, who's going to kind of be like my co-host in a sense for this evening, which I'm really excited about. Riley Huff is going to be joining us. Kristen Willett is going to be joining us. Brett Varvel will be here tonight. That's very exciting. We've got actor, director, and Christian influencer Sherry Rigby will share her insights on faith in entertainment and what makes this special, what makes this series so special. And I think she's the perfect person to ask about that. So we're looking forward to all these conversations. And I'm going to keep saying this as the night goes on, but keep those questions coming in. We want to hear from you. Questions, comments, what you want to hear, what you want to hear from behind the scenes, what happens, you're watching the movie. And by the way, don't edit it, you know what I mean? Like if you have a question, just throw it down there. You have a comment we want to hear. Don't worry about it, just put it up there. We love it. It's a big part of what makes these lives kind of really unique and exciting. So let's dive right in, everybody. Shifting gears to something very inspiring, like I alluded to already, the movie adaptation of Karen Kingsbury's best-selling novel, Someone Like You, and we're going to have Karen joining us very, very shortly on Zoom. But first, I'm thrilled to share that the film star, Sarah Fisher, is on her way over here very soon. She's going to be talking about all things Someone Like You and maybe a few other things. So make sure you drop your questions for Sarah and Karen in the comments section. But first, here's a trailer of the movie. Take a look.
Life can feel serene, and then a single rock breaks the surface, sending ripples through all of time.
I'm so sorry.
Dawson, you deserve to know.
London was an in vitro baby. We couldn't get pregnant otherwise.
The procedure gave us 2 embryos.
Saying London might have a sibling?
Hi,
Can we talk?
who are you? Do I look like London?
Yeah.
I want to know everything about her.
You love hiking here?
This is incredible. Are you in love with her?
You can't bring her back, man.
I could stay here forever.
She always wanted me to find someone like you.
You know what? Forget it. Let's just roll the whole movie because that looks so good. You know what I mean? Like, I want to keep watching. Everybody, that's so beautiful. Okay, please welcome. There she is, Sarah Fisher. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you
It's
so much
so
for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit as that trailer was going, and you were saying that this was so fun for you. Like, tell me a little bit about the
amazing.
character. What drew you to this role and to this beautiful project?
Oh, so many things. I think as an actor, it's so exciting to dive deep into dynamic, interesting, unique characters, especially with such a beautiful arc. And to dive into one is so exciting. So when I got the audition and I saw that I was going to be diving into 2, I was like, let's go. I was so excited. And it was just, I really love a challenge, and it was such a beautiful challenge to take on, and I was very excited.
Let's talk about that. London and Andy, you played both characters, and there's a lot of like kind of behind the scenes things that maybe we'll kind of tease and let the audience kind of know a little bit about. But just as an actress, like you said, you were so excited when you saw that in the audition. It's a really rare and beautiful opportunity. So what was that like for you? How did you navigate playing both characters?
Well, a huge part of that was such an incredible part of the journey to bring both roles to life was honestly the hair, makeup, and wardrobe teams were amazing. Because the second I've got the wig on, I've got the the little beanie hat, the oversized T-shirt, I was London, and it was just they brought her to life in such a beautiful way. And same with Andy, once I put that little suit, little set kind of thing on, I dove into her, and it was just, I think in the prep work, it's just really, it was diving into how do they both enter a room differently? How do they both talk to their loved ones differently? How do they both walk, talk, laugh, breathe? Like, how do they exist differently? But then how can I find that little tie that makes it clear that there's a little special connection to these 2 young women? And Yeah, and there's just so many people, and Karen, who just wrote 2 incredible, amazing, dynamic characters that were so fun to dive deep into. Just all of that put together was part of the journey.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that insight, because I think a lot of people wouldn't think about those little intricacies, how people walk in the room, how they say the words, all those things. But they will notice as they're watching, and I just think that this would be kind of fun to know, did you get to work with body doubles or anything like that when you're, as far as that? Because obviously I know that you don't really have scenes together, but was there any aspect of that? Because that does happen when you're playing 2 characters and you're in scenes together. Obviously not the case in this one. But.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But we did have days on set where we would go into one. I'd be London for a few hours and then we'd switch over to Andy. And Tyler Russell is just such an incredible human being and director. He was so amazing. Was so helpful because there were moments I'd be Andy, but I'd laugh like London, and he'd go, nope, and I'd go, yep, I got it. I'd have to switch back.
I love that.
We just had such an amazing team of people who were so helpful. But yeah, we did dive back and forth a little bit, but I loved it. I thought it was so fun.
Well, there's a lot of heartfelt and beautiful storylines, and the essence of this movie is really quite touching in many different ways. So what do you think? What do you hope that audiences will take away from watching this?
So many things. I think one of the things is that when we're in a period of time where we might be feeling emotionally very heavy, that some of the most beautiful things can come out of that. So whatever words you want to use, if it's hope, I hope that people feel uplifted, that even in those hard, difficult, challenging times and moments, so many beautiful things can come of it. I mean, Dawson and Andy really are both going through such a traumatic period of life, and something so beautiful and raw and real comes out of it. And just that people know that we're all in this together, and that love always wins. I
think that's a really beautiful message. Everybody out there, everybody goes through challenges. Everybody has adversity. Everybody has those struggles, and obviously, there's different levels of them. But to be able to really have that hope, faith. That on the other side, there's a new chapter and there's things to be learned from it, and I think that's a beautiful message. Now, you also, speaking of hope, when hope calls,
she calls.
Yeah, she does. Tell us about Hannah. You're busy. You're a busy actress.
It was so exciting when I found out that I'd be playing Hannah, because she's a really different role to take on. That I'm really excited. She comes from St. Louis. She has this designer dress company that she owns, and she's worked so hard to be able to be in that position, and then she comes back to Brookfield. And when you come back to Brookfield, it pulls at your heartstrings, and Hannah has to kind of make some big decisions. She brings a very different, unique energy coming from St. Louis and all that into Brookfield, and it's I mean, I don't know how much I can tease.
Well, why don't we just let the trailer tease it? Yeah, here we go. Let's take a look, everybody.
You must be Miss Lawrence.
You must be Mr. Parker. Nice to meet you. Have a seat.
I brought the wagon. We should head out before it gets dark.
I'm not going to the ranch today.
Why not?
Oh, I have to stay close to the telegraph office.
Then why am I here?
Obviously, I made these plans before knowing there wasn't a telephone in town.
Not that obvious.
Still, we can make good use of your time. I have lots of questions.
And I have your uncle's ranch to run, so...
I promise we won't be long.
Miss Lawrence, I just received this telegram back from a Francois Dunot.
Thank you. I'll just be one moment. Please send the following response. Francois, I've arrived in Brookfield. Stop. Auction for my uncle's ranch will be in the next few days. Stop. In the meantime, I do not want the work on my new boutique to stop. Stop.
Oh, and that second stop is a period.
Threaten the builder with legal action if he tries to hold us up.
You know, I do charge by the word.
Not a problem. If a telephone conversation is required, I can always ride out to the city of Clearwater. Stop. Thank you so much, Ruth. Mr. Parker.
Well, maybe Hannah was a little flustered in that scene with that handsome cowboy. We were just saying, like, it's got to be the most attractive, like, per capita town in the history of America. I mean, it's beautiful people, talented people, of course. So, any romance brewing?
Oh, there's always romance brewing in Brookfield.
There's a little tease.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is the romance with Hannah is actually with Wyatt Parker, who is a rancher who works at her Uncle Ray's ranch. And the cool thing about their relationship that I love is it's a slow burn. It's such a slow, beautiful, developing story.
We love that.
Those little moments are so big, which is so incredible. But these two characters are they're leaders, they're strong, and they kind of butt heads. And I love that we take our time to slowly lean into what might be a little bit of a romantic thing.
We're just going to have to watch and find out for sure. All right, let's get to your questions. I promised that I would leave time for all of your comments and questions. So here we go. Sharon from Dean, Pennsylvania. Hi, not a question, but want to thank her for the amazing job she's done on Someone Like You. We've watched that movie 11 times now.
What?
Sharon.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Thank you, Sharon, so much.
That's incredible.
You.
That's amazing.
That's so special.
Somebody leave a comment if you've beaten Sharon and you watched it more than 11 times. We want to find out about it. We're going to start this record. Okay, Sally, Sarasota, Florida. Did Sarah have prior jet ski experience?
Yes and no. Yes, I was 7, and my dad said that I asked if I could drive. Went on the front of the jet ski, and I just went. I don't know how fast those things go.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 60 kilometers an hour.
Well, you know now.
Like that. yeah, that's the most experience I had, but I loved it. And that was one of the questions in my chem read. They were like, Karen and Tyler had said, are you comfortable on a jet ski? And I said, am I comfortable on a jet ski? And that's that. It was a blast. It was amazing. It was so fun.
Sarah, this is from Mandy. Do you have any trouble memorizing lines? And were there any funny bloopers from SLY?
Oh, man. With memorizing lines, I find it's all the work that isn't the memorization that I find really helps the memorization come. So we all have our line slips, and that happens. But for the most part, I felt pretty comfortable, and I mean, sometimes you get a big old monologue, and that's one thing. But no, I find it really fun. Bloopers, oh man. Well, this isn't necessarily a blooper, but my character, Andy, wasn't actually supposed to go into the water. And we had a whole conversation about this, and everyone was so amazing on the team because I said, no, she has to go in the water. They're like, do you know how cold it is? I said, I don't care, I'm going in the water. And everyone was so incredible and came together, and we made it happen, and Jake and I, we jumped.
Listen, I'm a big cold plunge guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, so good for you. You got to get in there. You got to feel it. Absolutely. Now, it's easier when you're just kind of breathing and keeping your eyes closed. But anyway, good job. All right, everybody, let's keep things moving. We've got, like I had alluded to, the surprise, not so surprised because I told you already, but the brilliant mind behind Someone Like You, best-selling author, producer Karen Kingsbury is joining us live from her home in Tennessee. There she is. Hi, Karen.
Oh, hello. Oh, my goodness, Sarah. It's so good to see you.
I miss you so much.
All right,
we say other daughter, other mother.
Other mother,
So what was it like? What was it like working with Karen, and how involved was she? As far as with the production? It was
a dream. It was so amazing. Karen was so involved. She was on set every day, laughing, crying. It was, and to have the beautiful creative mind on set constantly with us to go over every single scene, and the words came from her. It came from here and from here, and to have her on set was just absolutely amazing, and the support and the love, like we would just cry on each other half the time. So it was very special, and I think that spread throughout the set. Everyone felt that little piece of magic, and it was very important to tell the story in the right way.
And Karen, what was it like working with Sarah? I know she's sitting right here, but
I know, but it's so easy to brag about her because she comes so ready to work and so humble and so teachable, but also the spark plug of the entire set too. So joy and just happiness, oozing from her. And then she'd come on and be able to play 2 different people in just a handful of hours. And it was like breathtaking to watch her. I knew from the moment we had our callback audition that we were just so blessed that literally I felt like God brought her to us because nobody else could have done that.
Well, I've often thought about what it would be like to be a writer and then see your words kind of be put, on a stage or on a set in front of you. And for you, it just sounds like that just kind of, and it was an amazing experience. And it was an amazing experience meeting you and seeing you today. Thanks for joining us so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, we're going to be enjoying watching you for a very, very long time. And
Thank you.
Karen, you don't get to go anywhere. You're going to be hanging out with us because we've got going to go into some Facebook Live questions right away as sort of part one, and then we'll kind of come back to those a little bit later. But thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Sherry says, Karen, we loved your movie and the Baxter's TV series. I'm wondering, are you still writing books? And if so, when do you anticipate publishing your next one? I'm an avid reader and have read all of your books to date. I need more.
Well, I'm hoping actually to just bring you more movies for a little while. We are, we're talking internally. I just always share with my husband on these ideas. And I have an idea for, I think, a great novel that I hope to write this year. But we are working on another movie. And, I've written 50 novels and I've written about a lot of things. And I want to see a lot of those become movies. So I'm working on that first. But I can't wait to get the next book out.
That's amazing. You should do like a TED Talk on how to take your novels into films. I mean, you are an amazing, amazing woman in many ways. And Lisa here agrees. She says, has there been a particular Bible verse or verses that have guided you throughout your career? That's a nice question.
It is a good question. Jeremiah 29:11 had been that verse for me, and it still will always be special, which is just that God has great plans for you. He knows the plans he has for you. Lately, for me, it's been 1 Peter 5:7, which is cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And to me, like when you're making a movie, that's hard, and there's no way to do it without trusting the Lord completely every day, every hour. So 1 Peter 5:7 is the one for now.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And those are, you can just rifle those off. That's impressive. That's very inspiring. All right, we're going to get to more Facebook Live questions in a little bit. So keep those comments and questions coming like I mentioned at the beginning. We want you to keep commenting throughout the entire show, but I've got a few questions for you now. I know that you've been very, very successful across multiple genres, and I think that's really, just a testament to your talent, really. But can you share about that journey as far as being able to do that across multiple genres and what that's meant to you?
Well, if you're going to do something, it's got to be done with excellence. And I mean, I don't know if you're speaking far back. I was a sports writer, a news writer.
Exactly.
I wrote true crime books at the beginning, which was a way to be home with our firstborn child at the time. And ever since she was born, I've been home writing books. And now she's a mom of 4. So it's been a long journey. But honestly, it's been the life-changing fiction, these 50, 60 books that I just mentioned. That's where my heart is, and to see the lives changed. I think there's no award or, number one or there's nothing that really compares to the individual person who, God puts a story on my heart, but he has that one person in mind. And then I get to see them at an event or hear from them on social media and find out that God used that story to change their life. And there's nothing greater than that.
And I'm sure you hear that from people all the time as far as watching or reading your works and how it's affected them and how it's helped them in different ways. And in many of the ways kind of leads into my next question with the fact that many of your themes of redemption and second chances, it's sort of a through line in some of your stories. And I don't know, how do you think that resonates with the viewer and also with you? Like, where's that coming from you as the writer, as the creator of this?
Well, I became a really a believer in Jesus, like a relationship with him in my mid-20s. So I had a past before that, not like a bad past, but like I knew what it was like to have him and not have him. And so for me, it was a rescue. And I can remember going to church and being like, none of us are, like, we're not perfect people. And you kind of come on Sunday and you're dressed up and you look kind of a certain way. But behind that Sunday face, like there is a lot of brokenness that is going on with people, even people who believe, maybe especially for people who believe. And so I wanted to write stories that showed we can write about the saddest, darkest things and then show the hope and the beauty from ashes that can come from that. I guess for me, that is a personal, it resonates personally with me. And, meeting people who lost their husband to a drunk driver or got, terribly injured in a sporting event and couldn't walk or whatever it might be, things that happen to people. And then like, someone like you has a tragedy in it. So how do you go on? How do you get to that moment? One of my favorite moments in someone like you, where the parents are sitting on the front porch and they can actually look at each other and say, we're going to be okay. And like, I think you and I talked about this last time about the fires coming through that, when you have faith, it's just, you can take that journey. It's not going to be easy and it's going to have a lot of tears and heartache, but you can grow from it and believe there'll be another chance.
I think that's really, really beautifully said and so true. And I think one of the reasons why Someone Like You is the #1 streaming movie on PureFlix. So congratulations on that. Did you know that?
Thank you.
Yeah, she knew it.
Earlier today, my team was like checking, and like,
yeah, of course, absolutely.
I was
absolutely.
so excited.
Well, congratulations.
I thought if they could find it and we could get them there because we love PureFlix, so we're subscribers.
Yeah.
We think it's amazing, and there's more and more content all the time. And so, I told people cancel something else if you have to, like cancel a cup of coffee, but get on PureFlix so you can see this. So I'm really happy that my readers heard me, and all of your people, all the fans, and all the people who already love PureFlix are just loving Someone Like You.
Yeah, well, they sure are, and you sort of alluded to this already, but what are you hoping that people that watch Someone Like You, what are you hoping they take away from it as far as some of these beautiful messages?
Well, I love something that Lynn Collins, she plays Louise, the biological mom, and she says, the world is divided enough, Andy. She's talking to her biological daughter, but she didn't know. She's having this moment, and she says, you don't want your family divided too. And I think even in my own friendship circles, there are so many people who are living in divided families. And the conflict there is not something that God wants us to have to go through. I think I want them to walk away believing there's hope for healing in their life and whatever tragedy they face, but also in their families.
Yeah, well said. And now back to Facebook Live. Like I promised, Brenda wants to know, which is more of a challenge, writing a book or making a movie from the book?
Well, absolutely no comparison. So thank the Lord, it's pretty easy for me to write a book.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah.
Like in 2 weeks, I should be able to have a good first draft. It's going to be pretty close to the final book. So that's I can control all details.
Right.
Making a movie, and you would know this, obviously, Cameron, but I mean, you get to a point as a producer, and we funded our first film. We funded Someone Like You. So there was a point about 2 weeks before we began production, and I said, but wait a minute. We had to go through all the COVID restrictions back then. And I said, if somebody gets sick, like, we're done. Like, people can't come back. I have them for these 4 days. And the producer, we had Natalie Rufino Wilson, who was phenomenal, that worked with us here in Nashville. She said, well, Karen, I mean, everything could go wrong. Like, if you're going to be worried about the risks, you shouldn't even do this. And I'll never forget that, because it was from that point on, it was a trust walk. It's so hard and so fun, but I love it.
It's so true. I mean, so much of being a producer on these is just being a really great problem solver. Being able to just kind of roll through, like that's such a massive part on every type of production. By the way, everybody at home, I have the Facebook Live production team behind the scenes all going like this, going like, yes, that's a huge part of production. It's just being really skillful at being able to recognize that things are going to go wrong every day, pretty much all through the day, and you've just got to adjust and make the best version of that you possibly can. So, and you've done that for sure. And I knew when I read that question, I was like, once you're in Hollywood, you know the answer to that question anyway. But there we go. Pollyanna says, if you weren't a writer, what do you think you'd be doing today?
Well, there was a time when I thought I might be a lawyer, like put the bad guys away kind of thing. I also spent about a year as a radio DJ host. That was fun.
Wow.
I do some public speaking. I really love people, and I'm not shy. A lot of authors are shy, but I love being out there. So I guess I'm kind of doing all of that, but I couldn't be a lawyer. It was going to take too much time, and I wanted to raise a family. So I had to put that one on the shelf.
You're doing all right. I think you did pretty well. Jennifer from Huntington Beach, and a lot of viewers are wanting to know, will you start a podcast again? We loved when you did one last year.
Oh, thank you. I loved the podcast. I had 16 episodes. And yes, I've been thinking about some really great ideas for season 2. We're in pre-production or soft pre-pro right now for our next movie. And I have to make sure everything's kind of on track for that before I get to the podcast. But it's so fun. Like it's like this, right? We just get to chat and I get to share my heart and some of the stories that are real to me that people don't know yet.
Yeah, it's true. There's the one thing that's sort of similar to like a Facebook Live kind of idea with a podcast is the timing isn't as crucial. Whereas versus like a network television or something like that, you've got to really kind of keep it to time a little bit tighter. So podcast, you can always edit. I mean, you can't edit this one, so let's hope, I don't stretch it out to like 3 hours or something. But in general, right. That's a nice little perk, isn't it?
It is. It is. You can keep it tight and you can keep it, you can get deep and then edit it to where it's like the perfect package. So yeah, I've been thinking about different people. I should have you on, actually. Wouldn't that be fun?
I would love to be on. I would love it. That would be a real honor, really. And that way I could sit back and answer questions. Here we got one more. Donna says, this is not a question, but thanks for literally changing my life. Friendships and family brought together by your stories. That is a beautiful thing to hear, I'm sure. What's coming up for you hearing that?
Just gives me chills. And thank you for saying that. That's so sweet, Donna.
Well, thank you for joining us. I look so forward to being on your podcast. You said it out loud. Everybody heard it. So I'll track you down. You know where to find me. But really, you're amazing. We always appreciate talking to you. Thanks for taking the time and enjoy Tennessee and the rest of the week. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Stream Someone Like You anytime on PureFlix, and don't miss its Great American Family premiere. It's happening this Saturday, February 22nd at 8, 7 Central. All right, moving right along here. This is a fun little interlude that we're going to throw out there for everybody. I'm excited to bring this up. Everybody pay attention. Get your piece of paper and a pencil, or if you take digital notes, get ready, get your iPad out. Because this is, love stories aren't just for the screen. They're real life. Many of us have had them, and they're beautiful, and they start stories, and who knows, it might end up on a screen, but this is what we're doing. We're calling it Blessed by Love, and we want to hear how you met your special someone. Now, that special someone, of course, can be a spouse, that can be your best friend, that can be your pet, it doesn't matter. It's all love. There's obviously different levels of love and different ways that we can kind of impute the word love. We want to hear your love story, and when we do, you've got a chance to win a $1,000 date night and celebrate the love that truly blessed your life. $1,000 for your date night with your puppy. That's where are you going to go with $1,000? That's incredible. You could fly somewhere with that money. I mean, I don't know, or your best friend. That's amazing. Or your boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse. They can't complain that you can't afford the nice bottle of wine anymore. You get that bottle of wine with $1,000. So go ahead. This is how you're going to do it. Oh, no, first, before I tell you how, this is a nice little bit of an inspiration. I'm not going to tell you who from, but you'll find out right now. Take a look.
Hi friends, I want to share with you our love story, well, mine and Val's, and how we met in our first date. So Dave Coulier from Full House, he played Joey, he was playing in a charity hockey game and he invited me, Lori Loughlin, John Stamos, and Bob Saget, and we all went to watch him play. And they were both professional hockey players and celebrities. And then Dave said, Candace, there's these two really good Russian hockey players, and I'm going to introduce you to them. And I said, sure. I was 18. And so we watched the game, and that night Dave introduced us. Val asked me for my phone number, and I gave it to him. I wrote it on a blank check. Some of you probably don't even know what a check is anymore because we barely write them, but not very smart of me. But Val called me the very next morning at 10 in the morning, and he said, do you want to go to lunch? And I was so nervous. I said yes, but I called Lori and I said, will you go to lunch with us? I think Val's brother's coming too. So the four of us could go. And we did. And then Val called me again that night, and the rest is history. We will be celebrating 29 years of marriage this June.
I love that. That is so sweet. And guys out there, there's like this unwritten rule that you're not supposed to call right away and you're supposed to wait this. Don't do it. See, it worked. She called 10 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, Val. And if you've seen those two together, you know it's just it's a beautiful thing. They've got a beautiful love. Thanks for sharing that, Candace. I love that. Okay, here's how you do it, everybody. You got the information, I think, right there on the screen. But basically, on any of the social platforms, just go ahead and post your story. Let us know what it is. And then use hashtag Great American Love Story. That's what there you got it right there. Hashtag Great American Love Story. Through that hashtag, we'll track you down, we'll read your love story, and you'll have a chance to win $1,000. And I think it says there too, the contest runs until February 22nd, so you better make a move on this, right? Do it soon. Love takes many forms, that's for sure, in the theme of love, right? We're talking rescue and romance tonight. That's why we're thrilled to welcome the talented Sherry Rigby, who's now right here with me. Sherry, it's so great to have you. The heart of County Rescue and obviously champions faith-based storytelling in Hollywood. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Cameron. So good to be here with you tonight. I am so excited about this conversation.
Well, we're excited to have you, and it's a great conversation to have, and I know this is something that you do a lot of, so I love that your excitement kind of just lives on through this, because I know it's a beautiful thing. Why do you feel it's important to create faith-based content for television and entertainment? And I know it's something that is really important to you.
It is. You know, today, it's so interesting. I heard recently a statement that said that entertainment and media is the largest church in the world. And I thought, wow, what a powerful statement that was, because here we are, we can deliver stories to people all over the world now in a matter of seconds. So more than ever, faith-based content is needed, and it's needed because people are looking for inspiration, they're looking for joy, they're looking for hope, they're looking for purpose. And I really truly believe that the culture we're living in today is filled with so much noise and distraction. And so when we can create these stories and offer them to people around the world that really do give them this idea of hope and perseverance and redemption, I mean, that's a powerful thing. And I do believe in creating this content, we have an opportunity and a responsibility to bring that light and that hope into a dark place. So I think that's why it's so important for us to do it. And I see so many lives changed through the power of storytelling. And so it's such an honor to be able to be a part of that.
It's really well said. And I wonder if you'd agree with this, that when you're sort of saying that people, need that faith and family and virtue in their storytelling and to feel good and find joy. I almost feel like a lot of people don't even realize that's what they're looking for when they're watching entertainment. Sometimes it's like they discover, I mean, obviously sometimes we do and we go to the channel intentionally, but then I know people will see, County Rescue, or they'll see some of these great Christmas movies and they'll just feel good. They'll feel happier. They'll feel peaceful. They'll see a message of generosity or of acceptance or of compassion or of faith or of whatever. And it's like, I want more of that. Would you say that that's been your experience too?
Absolutely. I think that's the power of storytelling. Narratives are so important to be told. And I think that's why people love right now, when you look at Great American Family and Great American Pureflix and you see the power of these stories, I mean, everything from the generosity, love, mercy, redemption, perseverance, overcoming, serving others. These are the elements and the values that we want to impress on people. And I think when people watch those kind of stories, it's what really does drive them to be better and to ignite and have the relationships that they actually were built for. And that's something that's so powerful, especially in the faith-based and family world. And to be content creators, to be able to do that, to be able to create these pieces of work that empower people to go out and serve their communities or others, just that's something everybody is looking for.
Yeah, I think you're right. And whether they realize it or not, I think they are for sure. Now, you were wearing multiple hats, at least for a little bit of County Rescue, which is really exciting. So let's talk a little bit about that, obviously, in front, behind the camera, and actor, director. Tell us a little bit about that dynamic and how you navigated that. And I don't know, is that something that you want to do more of? And are you doing more of?
Absolutely. I think my passion, I love directing. I've been an actress for a long time, and I know the power that we hold as directors to basically empower and inspire and encourage our talent that's on set. And so I love stepping into that role as a director, leading my team. And I have this way of doing it. I was brought up by the Kendrick brothers. I was mentored and discipled on, their films. And I love walking onto set every morning. We do a devotional, we pray together, we really unify as a team. I share a clear vision, hopefully with my cast and crew. And I encourage everybody that's on my set because I know that everybody's tired. It's a long process. But most importantly, I love working with the talent. I love encouraging them, seeing that they have the ability to put up their best performance, empower them through that performance, and then to watch them walk off of a set and be excited about what they just did in front of the camera. That to me is inspiring. And that's what I love. I love seeing these incredibly talented storytellers just excel in front of the camera, and that's what empowers me on set.
Well, you do a great job of it, that's for sure. You kind of look like you're on a set right now. I don't know, I don't know if you got your director and you set up that shot, but you look fantastic. It's all lit. You're ready for your close up. Okay, let's go to some Facebook Live questions here. Janelle in Florida says, Sherry, how was working with the cast of County Rescue? Yeah, what was it like working with the cast?
I love the cast. I immediately felt like family. Julia, Riley, and there's so many of them that just immediately felt like it was family. We were together, and these people are the real deal. I can tell you right now that every one of them walked on set every day. They were encouraged and inspired. They were uplifting to each other as cast members. I remember, in fact, my first day on set, Julia walked up to me and she said, well, what do you like from Starbucks? And I just thought, wow, okay. And next thing I know, probably about an hour later, I have a Starbucks in my hand. And then every single day she walked into set and she had the Starbucks and then a special treat for me. And I thought, this is just really cool. We would pray together, we would eat together, we would commune together. It was like a family right from day one.
I keep hearing about that on the set of County Rescue, and a lot of the Great American Family sets are the same, but it's a beautiful dynamic. And for people aspiring actors or directors out there, if you want to win over your co-star and your director or your producer, get their Starbucks order on the very first day, or actually, no. Get their Starbucks order before you start filming, and then every day you do your best. But that's a way. I got to work on that with Candace. I think she was better at that than me, because we got a Christmas movie coming up, and we'll talk about that maybe another time.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're back to this. Corbus. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. In Chicago. Thank you for realistic situations in County Rescue. 46 years in healthcare, now retired. And the PTSD anxiety story last season really hit home for so many of my colleagues. It was raw and real. Thank you for addressing that. Do you remember that episode?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is something that's really powerful about the storytellers. I mean, I think that that's something that is encouraging all of us to see these EMTs, and that's what Julia and Riley and so many of these characters do so well. They actually work tirelessly to perform these different procedures so that they're doing it right, and they are examples of what our men and women out there on the front lines are doing. And wow, they have done such a great job with it. So, and I think they're going to love that in season 2. They've also just worked really hard to do the best and to be examples for those people in the industry. Our first line of service, these EMTs, police officers, you name it, they're doing great jobs.
Yeah, well said. All right, Christy in Cincinnati, as a woman of faith and entertainment, what advice do you have for others balancing their careers with their beliefs? That's a good question.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that is a fantastic question. And I love this one. I always look at it from this perspective. I'm a Christian, and my faith is first and foremost. And so it's always what sets the bumpers for whatever it is that I do. And so I always say, make sure that your eyes are on the Lord first. You're praying about all things, and in that order, that's the way you're going to do things. And then as you navigate that as a Christ follower, everything will be according to that lens. And I think that is a way that you walk in a really successful career as a believer and as a creative storyteller.
Well said. A lot of people can learn from that. That's for sure, me included. Now, you're also hosting a Faith and Film Roundtable on PureFlix Premium with the stars of County Rescue. Perfect for you. That's a perfect fit. Nobody better for it. So tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. I'm doing the Faith and Film Roundtable for County Rescue, and Bill Abbott, President and CEO, Julia Riley, Brett Varvel, and also Kristen Willett are going to be joining me. We're going to be talking all things County Rescue, faith, family, calling, inspiration, you name it. So hopefully everybody will join us for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will get a really good turnout for that. Sherry, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing so much beautiful insights on how you do balance your faith and your work in entertainment as well. So we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody. County Rescue Season 2 premieres this Sunday, February 23rd on Great American Family and begins streaming on PureFlix in just 2 days on February 20th. So make sure you check that out. And from County Rescue, we're going to keep going. We're on a theme here, everybody. Julia Riley, the talented lead of the cast who brings Sherry Starbucks almost every day. And if she didn't before, she better now because we put it out there, is on her way to the studio. But first, let's take a look as a recap of Season 1.
I used to have a bit of a quitting problem. That is, until I turned my back on my old way of doing things. Once I heard the Lord's voice and found my true calling, my true purpose, everything fell into place.
I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Tim. Is he your first date too?
I can only hire one of you.
Well, almost. I also know the Lord uses everything for good and gives us a few distractions along the way to make everything feel a little brighter.
Seems you and Griffin are hanging out a lot.
There's nothing like being there for people when they need it the most. And to be chosen for this job is a dream come true for anyone with a passion for helping people.
What, 3 shifts left until you have to choose which rookie to go with?
I'm not clueless, Ashley. I know I don't have a chance.
I refuse to believe that God thinks you're a disappointment.
But passion or not, I wasn't chosen.
Our probationary EMTs finished all their shifts, and I've made my decision who gets the job. Tim Kaminsky.
And I know the Lord works in mysterious ways. The best way through a challenging time is to lean on Him, but it's not always that easy. I started to lose my way until an unexpected chance to help someone out turned into me living out my passion and calling after all.
Hey y'all, gonna take a 6-month leave. Gonna get my head right, do some rehab.
I got an opening for EMT. You want it?
This may be temporary for now, but it feels like the right step forward. So here's to the next step forward. Here's to a new beginning.
There it is, man. That was a great teaser into Season 2, that's for sure. And welcome, Julia. So good to see you.
So good to see you too.
Yeah, it's been a while. What, about a couple weeks because I saw you at the Movie Guide Awards.
It's been so long.
That was fun. You looked amazing. That was a really fun night. You County Rescue got a lot of recognition. There's several nominations.
Yeah.
Being recognized. We can't really tell anybody what happened that night. But did you have a good time?
I had so much fun. It was my second time going, and this year was so special because I had so many friends from the projects I've worked on this past year. It was like a big reunion, and yeah, such a great night. Yeah.
It was really fun, and it's just, it's kind of like that night, I find like, it's kind of like our high school reunion with everybody, you know what I mean? Like we all kind of get together, we've done movies and seen each other and been part of it, and I've watched your show, and we all come together for really, basically celebrating faith and family and entertainment, and both television and film, but it was great to see you there.
Totally, it was great to see you too.
Now, before we talk about Danny in the show, I want to kind of shift gears here a little bit. I want to take a moment to remember someone who was a cherished part of County Rescue, Keller Fornes, who passed away in December, and I know was, like I said, just brought incredible heart and passion and dedication to County Rescue, and wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about him.
I would be honored to.
Okay.
Keller was just one of my best friends and such a special person. I knew him for like almost 8 years. He was also a very talented boxer. He worked at a boxing gym I went to, and then we got to work on 2 other projects before this show. And I actually asked my fellow EMT cast members to each share 1 word about him so everyone can learn a little more about him. Some of them shared more than 1. But here's what we have. He was present, focused, original, authentic, an extraordinarily artistic jack of all trades, genuine, approachable, spontaneous, and I added in selfless. He was clearly so talented as an actor, but more than that, he just had the biggest and most caring heart for people, and I feel so blessed to have known him. I know we all do. I feel bad for the people that didn't get to know him. He was truly special, and I miss him, we all miss him, and we're so proud and honored to dedicate season 2 of this show to Keller.
Oh, that's really beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that. I can see you kind of holding back on some emotion, which is totally understandable. So I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. You know, live, it's not the easiest place to do it. And that was such a nice touch to bring in those words from the other cast. So thank you. So lots of love and support to everybody that knew Keller, to his family. Obviously will be missed.
Yes, you will.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about Danny a little bit. And I know we saw a little bit in that sort of recap of season 1, that surprising shift or opportunity to become an EMT. Tell us a little bit about Danny in the show and what you can tease for season 2.
Sure. So from that recap, we pick up off the fact that she was given a temporary position at the station. Right. But she struggles with that a little bit because she does feel like this is supposed to be her calling. And the fact that it's temporary means that she knows she really has to fight to prove herself to get a spot, and she wants a permanent spot. But it goes to show that our plans and our ideas for our life often look very different from God's plans and ideas for our lives. So she will definitely struggle with that in regards to her faith, and also continuing to navigate all the new relationships she has with her family, and especially those at the station as well.
It's a big job that you have on that show, and you handle it very well to lead that, and that's, it's just, you do a really great job, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to being a lead in a series like that and being sort of infused in so many of the different stories. And so congrats on that.
Well, that's very sweet.
Such a young woman. You're doing such a great job of that.
Thank you. Well, this cast and crew make the job so fun and easy. So.
Yeah, I keep hearing that about this cast. I'm just gonna start hanging out with this cast. I'm just gonna pop in on set and be like, hey guys, what's up? Maybe I'll be like a production assistant or something on the show.
You should.
So now EMT, right? So for people at home, you get a job, you're working as a doctor or an EMT. I played a Navy SEAL. I've played a veterinarian. You play all these different characters, right? And you try to do your research, but then all of a sudden you've got these scenes where you're saving somebody. Talk a little bit about the research and how you keep all of those actions true to life as far as being a professional EMT.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the more challenging aspects of the show, for sure. Prior to going into season 1, I watched a ton of day in the life of an EMT videos online, and we're so fortunate to film at real EMT stations, and we have real EMTs on set every day. Yep. And so, I mean, that's the best research we can get, and they are just so open to answering our questions and showing us like the proper way things are done. And so we get time to practice and rehearse the technicalities of all of that before we actually shoot it.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
100%.
Like going through the movements enough times that you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because obviously, although Danny's a new EMT, so you could sort of fumble a little bit if you needed to, but in general, that's a great way to do it.
Sure.
Let's get to Facebook Live questions. Christy wants to know, like we all do, will your character find love on the show?
Oh, you're just going to have to tune in and watch, Christy.
Oh, Julia. Not good enough.
I can't say anything.
Can't say anything. How about this? Okay, for Christy, let me reword your question a little bit. Do you hope Danny finds love on the show?
I obviously want that for her at some point.
Okay.
But I think, there's something really beautiful about the point in her life right now of figuring out herself and figuring out her calling, and maybe that's sprinkled in along the way. I can't say too much.
I like that answer. There's so much emphasis on finding. Well, I mean, this is romance and rescue event here on Facebook Live, so we want to hear about it. But of course, to love yourself and get to know yourself and maybe take some time alone is also a great thing. So it takes a strong person to really kind of acknowledge that, and I love that. Gina Marie in Hoboken. I like this question. What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question. I feel like I'm not the craziest adventurous person. I broke arms randomly multiple times as a child, like not from skateboarding.
Multiple times?
Yeah, not from like skateboarding, from tripping over a skateboard.
Got you. Yeah. Well, you know, you could probably work on that story if you needed to, but that's,
I'm exposing myself.
Yeah,
here.
no, that's actually better. It's actually better. By the way, you're talking to a guy who's got 2 broken toes currently from tripping and falling downstairs of his new apartment.
No.
So, yeah, I'm you know, toes and arms. It's a different thing, but anyway.
I am so sorry. That's painful. I would say though.
I got this.
This show has been a great adventure for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I bet.
That's my answer.
Shooting the show is the biggest adventure, and carrying that lead role. That's an adventure.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
We both got to be careful though.
Yeah.
Breaking
Well,
stuff.
I mean, I got to work on that. Carol Wynn Bozeman. Love you, Julia. Your high school science teacher. Oh, this is your high school science teacher.
Hi, Miss Bozeman.
Oh my goodness. Was it like what kind of science? Do you remember biology, chemistry, physics?
Miss Bozeman.
Don't you drop the ball on this, Julia. You better know.
Physics was one of them because that was a hard class, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, she covered all of them.
She taught me multiple years in high school.
Okay,
she was the best teacher.
You're allowed.
Yeah, she spoke about me at my high school graduation too. What? It was so special.
Oh, I love that.
I love you. That's so sweet.
That's really sweet. All right, now you're staying with me, whether you know that or not. You're hanging out with me. You're going to be like my co-host for the rest of the live here, and we're going to bring in one of your co-stars. There she is on Zoom already. Kristen Willett is about to join us. She plays fellow EMT on the show, of course, and she's a close friend of yours, both on screen and off. But before we talk with her, let's take a look at a clip.
You know, I don't think I know the story with that little thing. Tim gave it to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I still have no idea what her name is. Yeah, she looks like she's having a hard time too. Do we look alike?
We've all had a hard time, but we're adaptable. Unlike this little hula doll who's always smiling, we don't have to pretend like everything's perfect.
Even when your job is on the line and your ex-fiance is suddenly back in town?
Oh, I was gonna tell you about Hunter at the ribbon cutting party, but
we were interrupted, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You know, between Hunter being here for good and Duke about to kick me out, I feel like there's no room left for me.
Hey, just because Duke is coming back, that does not mean that your job is in jeopardy. And Hunter being here is hard for the time being, but you'll find a way to cope. God told you that you were supposed to be here. Either he will find a way to keep you here, or he'll give you something else to work towards.
And that's the perspective I'm hoping for.
Oh, I love that relationship. Welcome, Kristen. There she is. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great time. I get to talk with all you amazing actors and directors and everybody else. So that was beautiful. I could tell the dynamic, the chemistry you guys have, that relationship. Talk a little bit about that mentor-mentee relationship that you have on screen as well as off.
Oh, well, Ashley is the lieutenant of the station. And, you know, I think from day one, when Ashley and Danny meet, there's just something about Danny that Ashley is really drawn to. And in their very first conversation, they recognize each other as sisters in faith, which becomes the foundation of their relationship. And I think that that's really very important. But I think it's more than that. Ashley had also at some point in her life had this calling from God to be a first responder. And I think she recognizes this in Danny. And she wants to help Danny walk the path that God has intended for her. So she's there to, encourage her and to edify her and to remind her, especially as we saw in season 1, that when things don't necessarily go the way that you want them to, that doesn't mean that God's hand is not on the journey. And so that's kind of the relationship that they have on screen.
Well, I can see it already, even in just that clip you guys do. It's just really nice to see. And Ashley, what is it? I mean, it sounds like such a beautiful character, both these characters. I just thinking about how, all the show has got all these talented actors and really well-defined and interesting and deep characters. What was it about Ashley that really resonated with you, Kristen?
Ooh, I love that question. So she is just such a strong woman of faith. And I think everything that she does, every decision she makes, every relationship she has on the show, it comes back to being rooted and grounded in faith. She's so steady, like I love that about her. Because I'm not like I am. I'm a woman of faith and I love it and it's wonderful, but like my life is total chaos. Julia knows. I mean, it's a nut show over here, which is great. But
it is for all Ashley, of us, Kristen. Just trust me, you're not alone. Okay, I'm hanging on. Yeah.
So one of my favorite things about Julia, and this is talking about us a little bit off screen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We found out where we were shooting. Her and I texted each other almost immediately, and we had both Googled how far the nearest Starbucks was from our hotel. Do you remember that, Julia?
Of course. I think one of us sent the other a screenshot of the location.
It's important. We gotta know these things.
So
when you have those 5 a.m. wake-ups.
Yes, exactly.
The worst is when your call time is before Starbucks opens. So we've been through that one too.
We have. And then I show up with Starbucks for her because she's always there earlier than me. So I'm always coming in with like all her little things. And
yeah. That's very, very sweet. That's really, really, I love that. Now, Ashley's married on the show, as we know. So tell us about what that marriage is like. What's that dynamic like?
Ooh, that's a fun one to talk about. So on the show so Ashley is married to Andy, and their relationship is really rooted in faith too. Andy's a wonderful man of faith, but there's this really playful side to them that I love. And, they're not, I don't want to say they're not uptight and always, opening the Bible and they're so fun and they're real and they fight and they bicker and, she doesn't want to go to her in-laws' house. And it's just all like the real world stuff, And so I think it's really cool to see a couple on a series that loves the Lord. And that is the foundation of who they are. But at the same time are funny and real and just annoy each other and love each other. And, all of the crazy complications that come with just being a human being. I think you get to see that with the both of them.
Absolutely. Being a human being and being in a relationship. And, I think it's all good and it's all real. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But before we do, let's bring on your on-screen husband. Brett, where are you? You here, buddy? Hey, we're talking about you, man. Welcome.
I keep hearing you talk about Andy.
Yeah. How you doing,
I'm
man?
right here.
How's things?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back with you, man.
All right. Well, good to see you again, too. Thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate you guys taking the time, by the way. All right, Brett, what's it like working with these two amazing, talented, beautiful humans?
It's the worst.
I knew it. I knew it.
You knew that was coming. You knew it.
They call it acting for a reason, Cameron. No,
it's tough, man.
From day one. Day one of season 1, and then it was no different with season 2. These two women became family to me, and it was one of those that's you never know quite the on-screen chemistry that you're going to have with your on-screen wife, scene partner. And Kristen and I had never met each other. I think we had texted each other once before we got to set on season 1. And we shook hands, and it was just this instantaneous, like, okay, this is going to work. And I think it's very, very simply grounded in the fact that we share the bond of the Holy Spirit and our faith in Christ. And then we just had a blast on season 1, and then that continued on into season 2. And then Julia has just become such a sweet friend, and I love it. She comes to me with really big questions, and I feel like I'm not prepared to answer them, but she comes and asks me these questions, and I tell her about some of my personal experience, and but it's so great working with them. They humble me as an actor, when I work with them, I feel like it's that imposter syndrome that just floods your heart. But they're two of the most giving actors, and then friends.
Do they bring you Starbucks though? I mean, that's all amazing. But like, are you on the Starbucks list or are you not?
No. And here's the deal.
I did it one time.
I'm a black coffee guy. I drink black coffee.
Okay.
There was one morning that Starbucks didn't open.
Okay.
Hadn't opened yet.
By the way, we're not sponsored by
Guess who showed up
Starbucks
to set
here,
with
people.
Kristen's order?
You should be.
Yeah, no, I got
This
you.
guy.
Well, listen, if you're a black coffee guy, you could probably get away with the in-hotel room brew. You just got to like double it up. I got some strategies. We'll talk later. Let's talk about your character. What resonates, with you as an actor and this amazing character that you play?
So Andy is a ball of joy. The thing that I like about him is that he doesn't take things too seriously. He really loves to be grounded in the moment, and he loves to have fun. But when duty calls, I mean, you better believe he puts his game face on and he's ready to save lives. And he's that. I think Kristen said that, Ashley is constantly steady, and Andy is very much the same type of way. And it's been a joy to get to know him and to get to bring him to life. And what you see in season 2 is actually a little bit of a different side of Andy, because in season 1, he was the cartoon. He was just there to pull pranks and to laugh and all those different types of fun things. But in season 2, he has to wrestle with some more difficult decisions and choices, and he also has to be there for his fellow EMT workers. That's his family. And so he has to wrestle and really embody their hurts and their pains. And it's an interesting journey that Andy goes on in season 2.
We've been hearing about that as well, as far as Andy and the other characters and the resilience and the faith through line through this. So it's beautifully done on this show, guys, from all of you. And I love that you get a little bit more to dig your teeth into in season 2. And we got a little clip as a teaser. So let's take a look at that now.
Okay, seriously, with the look, what's going on?
We've been able to spend almost all day, every day together for 15 years.
I know. I blew it. You're finally sick of me.
I used to think we'd actually get sick of each other, but it never happened.
Nope. No, it hasn't.
I love working with you and coming home to you and doing movie marathons with you. Just everything. You're my best friend.
I agree. So what's going on, Ash? Oh. Oh.
It's so sweet. It's so oh, look at Kristen. She loves the tease. She's so like that was so sweet. Like I can feel it. So let's talk about this relationship. I want to hear from both of you, Kristen and Brett. I love what you said earlier, Kristen, about the fact that you want to try to make this a true, authentic. Obviously, it's a very, very faith-based relationship, but at the same time, there's naturally some ups and downs. There's always challenges. There's always things, and I love that you guys navigate them. And talk a little bit about what couples, real life couples out there watching might learn from some of these experiences. Who first?
Right, no, we always.
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it.
I think the thing that really hit me on season 2, you get to see a lot more of Andy and Ashley in season 2, and there was a moment that it was actually my final night on set, and I won't give any spoilers away of what we were doing, but it was just this reality that even a 5-year-old could watch County Rescue. I mean, we try to make it as family friendly as possible, and the idea that a little girl could look at the screen and watch this couple, this married couple, and as their romance continues 15 years into their marriage, and aspire to desire something like that one day. It's not a perfect marriage, but it is a marriage where these two people, two flawed human beings, are trying to do it together. And it really just hit me with this opportunity that we have to present a very godly marriage that is something that people can strive for in our society today, but also that to Kristen's point, they're not fuddy-duddies. Like, they have fun and they laugh and they goof off, and I think that's just as important. And so that was something that really stood out to me this year.
Kristen?
Can I just say ditto? Does that
no,
work?
you cannot. That's not allowed. Against the rules.
Okay, I'll come up with something. No, you know what? He said that so perfectly, and without giving away any spoilers. So Andy has a pretty interesting season 2, and so does Ashley, as you saw in that clip. Mm-hmm. And what is really cool about them together is that amongst all of the strife and questions and sort of anxiety with what's going on and just the unsureness of life and what path to take and where to go and what to do, they both go back to God first, right? That is the foundation. It's you get to see like this individual faith that they have and how they go back to God first and how they pray and how they wrestle through things. And it looks different for each of them. But then you get to see them come back together, and you get to see what it looks like as a couple coming back in Christ, and that being the foundation of them then. So it's really neat because you get to see it individualized this season, but you also get to see it by the end of the season as like the two of them. And I think that's really strong. I think
I think that's beautiful. And I think it's also something that a lot of people will relate to and be inspired by seeing too. So I think that's a great aspect to highlight. So thank you for that. And now, like I always promise, I'm going to go to Facebook because I talk too much. Charlie in Milwaukee wants to ask a question. He wants to know, how is faith woven into all of your characters' journeys? You included, Julia. So actually, why don't we start with you, Julia?
Sure. Okay. Faith is the biggest part of Danny's life. Yeah. And she finds herself at the station because she feels God lay the word rescuer on her heart. And so that's how she even ends up here in the first place. And now she's struggling with the fact, as I talked about a little bit earlier, that we know that this is a temporary position, but she really wants this, but does God want this for her? And so is she going to trust him to navigate this huge life decision?
Nice. Okay, Kristen, you're up. I think you've sort of alluded to this already, by the way, but just, coming back to it.
So let me answer it in a different way. I'll tell you my favorite part about not necessarily the faith of my character, because I think I checked that box off. But
I think so, yeah.
I think my favorite part about the faith element of my character is when characters on this series who don't necessarily believe or who are questioning their faith or questioning their path and are struggling with it, when they look to the characters of faith in this series, when they look to Ashley and to Danny and to Andy, it's a really cool witness that they're seeing. And I love that viewers see that, right? So I love that viewers see that struggle of like someone questioning and wondering, and then like watching how Danny does something.
Nice.
I think that's cool.
Nice. Brett, you're up.
That was my answer, Kristen. Like, you stole it.
Okay, now.
All right.
So we're going to have a marriage fight again.
Ditto again.
Yeah, so I think that similarly, what I would say to what Kristen, I'll just add on to it, is that you see each character wrestle in their own way with the circumstances that they have at hand. And it's going to look different for we're all different human beings, and we're all in different stages of our journey with faith. And so to see how these characters wrestle with that, I mean, granted, on top, it's kind of amplified because they're EMT workers. And so you're dealing with the stress of work, rescuing people, and then having to deal with the the day in and day out of who you are as a human being and your own struggles and relationships and all of those different types of things. And so, but I think the thing that's really exciting about County Rescue is you see how they all collectively come together as a family. These are not just people alone on an island. They do it together.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is really important for people to experience.
On camera and off camera, from what I can tell. Anyway, Sandra wants to know, I'm wondering how Kristen and Brett juggle family and their acting careers. Okay, Kristen,
Well,
you first.
I was so blessed. Okay, I was so blessed. Oh, okay, fine.
No, Brett, you go. You got it.
They are a married couple. Look at this.
Okay. So with both season 1 and season 2 of County Rescue, I was so blessed because the production team graciously allowed me to bring my family with me to set, and so they hunkered down with me for all of season 1 and then the majority of season 2, and it was fun because and we do it's possible for us because we homeschool our kids. And so I should say my wife homeschools our kids. Let's be honest.
By
about
we,
that.
you mean your wife?
But she does. She's the teacher. I do Bible class. That's my territory.
Beautiful.
But yeah, Christina, my wife, is an incredible teacher and mom. And so she is there with the kids. She'll bring them to set during lunchtime to say hi every once in a while. And we make it a family thing. In fact, it's something that I was worried at the beginning of my career that it would like be a hindrance to my family and something that would be a negative impact on my children. But it's been the biggest blessing. In fact, they're all kind of clamoring right now, asking me, "Daddy, when's the next film trip?" Because we got to get out of our house. And so it's exciting for us to do it together.
Oh, good.
And I'm so thankful for the team at County Rescue being supportive of that.
Nice. Okay, Kristen, no ditto. Go ahead.
Well, I already told you guys it's a metro here. So, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, for me, I have an amazing husband who leans in so much when I book something and when I'm away. They also come and visit me on set too. But,
Nice.
I think one of the most important things for me is that my kids see me following the path that I really think that God has for me and going after my dreams and, for them to see, okay, so I have 5 kids. I have a son and 4 daughters. So for my 4 daughters, especially, to see a man encourage his wife to follow her dreams because of a God-given talent, like for them to see what that looks like to be loved biblically, like, holy cow, that's amazing.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's great.
And then for my son to see that too, to be like, this is how I should love my wife. This is how I should love my, future girlfriend or whatever. And
that's good stuff.
Yeah, so he's awesome. It's because of him.
Come on, guys, we got to step it up. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's amazing. I mean, other than Brett, we all got some work to do. Now, I want to see your hoodie. Can we take a look at is that the County Rescue? Can we show that? There it is, everybody. County Rescue season 2. It's coming. Brett, Kristen, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time, as always. Really, we love chatting with you. I could do it all night. So thanks for joining us. And everybody, like it says there, season 2 is coming. Thursday, February 20th on PureFlix. Sunday, February 23rd. I'm now reading it from the screen instead of my card. On Great American Family. I'm cheating in all different ways, everybody. Any way I can. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Love y'all.
Thank you.
Love you, Julia.
What's it like for you to be able to kind of connect with your cast when you're offset and ways like this, doing press or just hanging out? Is it fun?
It's so much fun. It never feels like work with these guys, and it never feels like work when you love what you do either. But it's the best, and we're texting in our group chats every day, or I'm texting Kristen about something random. Maybe a new coffee I tried. I don't know. We're always keeping in touch.
A new coffee. I mean, there is a real thing. We're going to reach out to some different coffee providers for sponsors for the next Facebook Live because we didn't know. But by the way, it makes me feel a little better too because I literally plan that stuff out as well. In fact, if I know my call times, let's say 4 or 5 a.m. or whatever, I'm going to be up before it opens. Like I'll get something in my room, my hotel room. I'll double up because I need my strong coffee.
It's important.
So
yeah,
I don't feel as I don't know. there's a word, but I'll leave it out. It's addicted. But
You got to be strategic with the coffee when it comes to a long day on set, for sure.
All right, let's keep it going, everybody. Another one of your co-stars, Riley Huff, who plays a fellow EMT on the show, is joining us now. Is Riley there? There he is. What's up, Riley? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. So,
hey, Jules.
Julia, what's it like working with the dynamic between you two before we kind of go into a clip here?
Mm-hmm. It's so much fun. Riley and I were really good friends, actually, before we started to work on the show together. We'd worked together, and we went through the whole audition process together as well. Yeah. So it was so special to then get to book the show together.
Man, you can't just like tease that without telling us. So what was that? So you guys actually auditioned together?
Yeah, he read for me, and I'm gonna spoil this. Riley read for Griffin originally, and then in my callback, they were like, "Who is that? Come around the camera." And then he had read for Tim, and here we are.
Okay, well, I'm gonna circle back with Riley about that in a little bit, but in the meantime, let's take a look at a clip. Julia and Riley.
I did block him. You asked earlier? Yeah, I needed that boundary to take time to process. Our breakup was really hard on me at first.
He's got the shorter end of the stick, though. Sorry, let me backpedal here. I just mean that you are an incredibly strong woman, and anyone would be extremely lucky to have you in their life in any capacity. I know I am.
You're a great friend, Tim. Really.
I'll go bring over the paperwork.
Okay. All right. I'll welcome you one more time since I sort of surprised you last time. Welcome, Riley. That was a nice clip. I love watching actors, everybody. I love watching actors watch themselves in scenes that they may not have actually seen, right? That could be a tease that they haven't seen. So I'll just let you know behind the scenes. Riley could barely watch. He couldn't sit still. He was fidgeting. He was turning around. He was like basically peeking through the corner of his eye.
Oh, no.
And Julia is the opposite. Julia's like this. Julia's like this. She's watching, and it's sweet because you really want to look and learn and see how you do, and I think that's really fun.
Yeah, but internally I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You know, it's like all the thoughts are internal for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, it was fun to watch, and by the way, you guys both look. I love the lighting on this show. It's amazing.
For sure.
But that's not the point. Let's go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just saying. I'm looking at that. It's not even like I can't watch myself. I'm just so protective of Tim, and I'm just kind of watching, and I'm like, oh, buddy. It's rough.
Oh, you took a hit. I got you. It was more like you feel it.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily the end all be all of the. It's an earlier clip in the season, so plenty of fun twists and turns to be
for sure
found in the show for sure.
Yeah, but there's some feelings there. Is it fair to say?
Oh yeah.
Is it fair to say that there's some feelings there that right?
Yeah, definitely fair to say.
Yeah.
I think, you kind of saw it in season 1 where there was some interest bubbling there for him. But I think, we both kind of see this relationship kind of growing in certain directions. And, this season you kind of see Tim not only navigating that, but also other kind of, fun surprises that come in through the season as well.
Yeah, and you're doing a good job kind of teasing it without saying too much. But last season, you guys were competing EMTs. And so try to, say it without saying too much about where we can find both characters kind of moving into season 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, Tim got the job at the end of last season by the end of it. And he's really efficient and really smart and really proactive within his workflow as an EMT. And this season kind of finds him, now that he's got this down to a rhythm with Danny, and he kind of has this place in the station, he's starting to look around at his life and wonder how can he start improving that. because, you know, when you get so caught up in trying to help everybody else, sometimes you forget to take care of yourself. So, you know, between not only just that, but, you know, he's poor, you know, he's in a lot of debt and taking care of his mom. And, you know, he's the only one around for her. So just trying to carve some space to improve his own life so he can help everybody else a little bit better.
Sounds like a really rich character. Anything you want to add with the relationship, the dynamic moving into season 2, Julia?
Yeah, I think something I love about their relationship that's so special is that, yeah, they're competitors in season 1. And yeah, Danny, we don't go into season 2 with a solidified spot. What does that look like? But at the end of the day, they are just so supportive of one another. And there's this competition, but they just want the best for each other because they really do see so much potential in one another and confide in one another and lean on one another and laugh together. They just have a really, really sweet dynamic.
Definitely, you know, you get that sort of comfort. Obviously, you guys are very comfortable together as actors because you feel that trust between the two of you, and that's a beautiful thing and something that you just hope for when you've got a coach.
Oh, for sure.
Let's get into some Facebook Live questions here. We've got Sean down in Florida, Orlando. How's the weather, Sean? Riley, did real EMTs help you train and prepare for your character?
Yeah, we have a handful of on-set medics helping us kind of plan the scenes and orchestrate them and make sure that we're being accurate to the rescues and to the science that's in the show. Shout out, special one to Reese, who was with us for most of season 2 and helped us kind of put this together. But yeah, it was also just good because, you know, you kind of get in your head and wonder if you're putting on, I guess, sort of like a phony Hollywood kind of presentation of, you know, these EMT medics, but to have them there and kind of like fact check us and make sure that we're doing right by them, you know, that meant the world. And it made this feel all the more special when we put it together.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a really good detail to have on the set. We talked a little bit about it already, but another aspect of it that's challenging, I'm sure you guys both experienced too, is you're trying to stay in character. You've got your story, you've got your lines, you've got your dialogue, you got what camera's on you, and then you've got to remember all the dynamic where your hands go and how to, like, it can be really helpful actually to really help the scene, and then it can be overwhelming, but you guys do a great job of handling all that and juggling it. So Helen wants to know, Kristen and Julia are super close. Excuse me, Helen, got your question wrong. Kristen and Julia are super close. How's your relationship with Brett on set?
So my relationship with Brett is great because I feel like walking into this show, I was kind of the most green out of everybody. And I mean, Tim, you know, is a very like heavy, prevalent character. And so there's a lot of responsibility, and having someone like Brett that I can bounce off of and kind of observe, you know, how he navigates not just the acting and like how to carry himself on set, but like the business outside of it. And, you know, he's also, I think I've learned from him to not take everything too seriously, to kind of allow myself to soak in the moment and stay present in it and enjoy everything really for what it is, you know, because it's, you know, long, hard days where you're shooting and, you know, it's a lot of work. It takes a village to put all this up. And, it can be easy to kind of like get stuck in that. But if you can kind of remove yourself and sort of just appreciate everything that's in front of you, I mean, it makes everything so much more rewarding.
That's one of the best lessons. Yeah, go ahead.
And he's just like an older brother, you know, like I goof off with that guy. We'll like improv on set and we'll kind of like try to throw in jokes, you know, at the end of a scene or something, just kind of make it come more alive, you know? Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and that's part of the thing. If it gets to be a long day, you want to make sure everyone's still having a good time. So him and I just kind of found a rhythm where we're like, why don't we just try to make each other laugh? And it kind of, you know, a lot of it ended up staying. So, you know, hey, more and merrier, you know?
Yeah, it's nice when you have that ability. You know, sometimes that happens on like the second, third, fourth, fifth take when you've got the one that's written already kind of safe in the can, and then you can kind of get a little free with some improv. It's fun to have that as a possibility when you have time and you have that luxury, but good for you to, and I love to hear that some of it's made it into the to the broadcast, into the show, so that's fantastic. Good
Creates
job.
real moments.
Yeah.
It's real moments for sure, real reaction. What's it like for you when you hear those sort of improvs coming at you?
I'm telling myself, stay in character, stay in character, if I'm not supposed to be laughing.
Sure.
But it's so much fun. They keep us on our toes, and they just, again, they make going to set so much fun every day.
Well, Alta in West Virginia. Alta, welcome back. No question, just looking forward to the new season. The whole cast is amazing. Well, there you go.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Thank you. Appreciate
We're so
that.
excited for everyone to see it.
I agree.
Yeah.
We've got, is this another one? I don't think it is. I think that's it, which means we're going to say goodbye to Riley. Riley, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. Congratulations on everything, my man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Okay, everybody, we're kind of like close to wrapping up here. It's been so fun talking all things faith, family, and everything we have going on at Great American Family and PureFlix and hanging out with you. But we have a couple Facebook questions for you still, and I think maybe even one for me. I'm not sure.
Love it.
If not, can we fake one for me?
I'm like, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, exactly. Like if we don't have one for me, Julia's going to ask me a question to make it seem like, you know, people are interested. All right. I will say, Leah, this is your question. You go ahead. Can you see that on the screen? Do you want me to read it for you? Leah in Roseville, Minnesota, she says, this has been amazing. Thank you, everyone who's joined us, all the fun stories. And then it says, Cameron, tell me about, it's coming in hot, your Christmas movie this year. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about, Leah. Way to plug my Christmas movie. I love you. If you remember, in December, I made a movie with the one and only Candace Cameron Bure. It was called Home Sweet Christmas. It was really sweet and a love, like a really touching story. Candace and I got along really well. So had really good chemistry in this film, to the point where it did well out there and people wanted to see another one. So we're having kind of a second installment of the Home Sweet Christmas. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the title, so I'm not going to. But that's going to be the Christmas, for Great American Christmas 2025, will be another Home Sweet Christmas kind of follow-up movie. What happens next between those two characters? And I'm really excited about it. I now have the script. It's in my inbox, and I'm reading it tomorrow on my flight to go see my kids. Okay, so now, and then Angela in Bayville, New Jersey says, sending love, Cameron. Thank you very much. Thank you. I've been part of the LA fires. I lost my home and things, but we're all rebuilding and we're hanging in and we're staying strong. But I feel the support and the love, so thank you so much. And do we have a question for Julia? I think those are the questions. We knocked out a lot of questions.
We did. I feel like we covered a lot.
Well, we definitely did. Thank you. You're amazing. And I really loved sitting next to you for this, so we got to do this again.
This was so fun. I hope we do, yeah.
You can get me written in as a guest star on County Rescue. And
that would be awesome. We would love that.
I'll carry your bags or I'll be like cleaning the streets or something. Don't forget, County Rescue, it streams on PureFlix every Thursday starting February 20th. That is this Thursday, everybody. It's coming up fast. And every Sunday night leading up to Great American Christmas 2025, we're celebrating, like we said, Faith and Family Sundays. Viewers can look forward to premieres of new episodes, of course, of Season 2 of County Rescue and Season 2 of When Hope Calls. And speaking of When Hope Calls, big news. This is it. We're dropping it right now. Maybe you guys know this. Maybe you don't. Our next Facebook Live in March will be a When Hope Calls event. So we'll have stars from When Hope Calls, Season 2 joining us. We're planning big things. I can't tell you what we're trying to pull off, but it's going to be fun and you're going to want to watch it for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited about that one too. And don't forget also, I want to talk about PureFlix Premium as well. So PureFlix Premium, if you don't have it already, you gotta upgrade because you get an exclusive behind-the-scenes access with cast, producers, original series from some of your favorite stars like Candace Cameron Bure. You've got direct contact, if this isn't enough, direct contact with our president and CEO, Bill Abbott. I was going to make a joke, like, I don't even have direct contact with our CEO and president, Bill Abbott. And then I thought that's not fair because actually, he's one of the most amazing men you'll ever meet. And he responds to texts from all of us crazy actors, like hitting him up, asking him stuff. And he's like running the network and who knows what else he's doing. But I actually do have direct access. But you can too if you get PureFlix Premium. Not only Bill, but also other members of our leadership team. And it'll be a really, it's interesting way to find out more about the amazing things they're doing in Great American Family and PureFlix. PureFlix Premium, everybody. Join a community that supports trusted entertainment focused on faith and family values. That's what it's all about. We love you guys. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you in March and lots of love. Keep watching. And thank you again, Julie.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.